Hey guys, how's it? Aloha. Jeeves here, your old composer here at the Decomposer Lounge, dissecting some of your favorite music based on suggestions. Sorry, my shoulder's not quite 100% yet. And it's funny, when you think you're feeling good, you go to do something and it reminds you who's boss when you're not, frozen shoulder thing. Anyhow, Behemoth, Bartzable. I was supposed to do it last night, but I just got a little burnt out and stuff, and I've been eating a lot of Anvil for this, so I was kind of like, Anvil? Advil! Maybe it knocked me out like an anvil. God, I'm so bobo. The older I get, the better I was. Anyhow, I want to thank you guys. Yesterday, I did my very first lyrical review ever on this channel. I've already done a couple on my Patreon. And, I'm doing different things on the Patreon there. You may want to check that out. I know the Patreon, some people don't have, the money. Obviously, I fully understand. But if you see what you like, you can jump in just one time, grab everything. You don't have to renew every month if you don't want to. But it was a great experience. But I think with bands like Behemoth and other the dark metal or the metalcore or the heavier tracks that I've done here, of which I don't listen to lyrics anyhow, usually on my music breakdowns, give me some suggestions that, maybe in a few more weeks I'll do another lyrical breakdown. But here's the only caveat. You have to go through my playlist and choose a song that I've already done. So that way I've already listened to the music and I don't have to be influenced in my process with music. That way I could just read the lyrics and listen to the melody and stuff and react and take no hostages. Anyhow, guys, thank you so much. Cup of coffee here if you see so fit. You guys know these reviews don't monetize my channel. If you want to support me, I got the Patreon, I got the coffee. You can go ahead and check out the headsets. Oh, shit. God. And the links for Behemoth also for their Spotify and everything will also be down below. All right, guys, let's do this. Behemoth, Bartzable. All right. Okay, I know. There's going to be some people who say, no, why did you stop there? But I just wanted to kind of, hang on for a second, I'm going to turn off my air conditioning here. That's going to extra noise. And I'm going to go back a little bit. What I love about what I'm hearing so far, it's a really super cool thing that I hear, prog bands do, or metal bands, or black metal and stuff. I guess with the latest techniques of, well, not latest for me, I'm an old guy, okay, so drop tuning, detuning, or using what I call movable shapes that actually have open notes. So let's just say this is in B, and you have the opportunity to use almost every single string, even if it's a regular tune, for an open note. So in other words, it's making these really super cool chord changes while the root is still that very low note. But if you hear a couple of octaves higher, it sounds like maybe the B and the E string is ringing out. And what I love about that is that really kind of hits me kind of in a visceral sense like bagpipes would, because it's a very unique drone. And how they're building this track so far, where are we? We're about a minute and something into it, a minute 30 into this track, is kind of this, it's almost like this abyss-style blowout of whatever your head is about, and you get a chance to rinse and sink right into this pattern and stuff. And then when the tom-toms come in and stuff like that, it sounds very the word I'm looking for, not march, but a call to action, and it's pulling you in with this really nice and developing guitar playing that's happening there. Started off with a clean sound, it's getting a little darker and stuff. There's a little more things that are happening, then they're changing it with the ambience of the toms coming in with a little bit of the reverb on it that gives you this kind of long hauled dark kind of a vibe and stuff. So I really dig that. I mean, I know these guys are super heavy, so I'm probably in for the people's elbow, but I really, really am digging this. When bands, musicians give me, for me, because my world is a composer for media, right? So a lot of it has to do with theater of the mind and bringing people in and out of journeys. Something like this, man, this is really super cool. So let me go ahead and get back a little bit, and I'll shut up and we'll keep going. The background vocals, da 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 da, that has such a really that's such a to me as an arranger and a composer, you know, this is how I do what I do on this channel, is I peel apart, you know, what is beyond the obvious: drums, guitar, bass, vocals, and I love and even though that's a vocal arrangement, that background, the da 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 da, with the for me it's the purposeful kind of arrangement that has given you that dark, heavy cathedral. Like I'm trying not to watch the video so much as I'm listening, but I mean, that's something else that I really appreciated from when I first saw, the very first time I did a breakdown on them, is the top to bottom commitment to the persona of the band and the messaging of the band and the incredible, you know, way that they present themselves. You know, I did watch one of their videos. They had this killer mic set up like on stage. It looked like, you know, big chopper, you know, bars from the old days and stuff like that with the mic and stuff. So, you know, very serious about putting across the messaging. But I love that it's not Gregorian chanty sounding stuff, but it's very dark and very heavy. His vocals, obviously I can't understand what he's saying, but it is so from underneath here. I'm not as a vocal coach, I'm not saying that underneath. I'm just saying it is so from here that whatever it is he's saying is really coming out with the power of like the depth in which the persona of the band seems to be coming from, you know, way down underneath and pulling it through. And then once again, now as they repeat the pattern that they opened up with the clean sound and built us into it, you know, getting us all into that. Now they're going back and forth, and some of that repetitiveness in there keeps changing and growing. And that's for me, that's what I love, is that even smaller nuances that might change, you know, in the arrangement, to me shows, you know, the building and the growth and the arrangement and the composition of this. It still got me fully hooked. So let me go back. you know, that phrase that we just heard, the da 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 da, so we were able to let the drums glam and rock out and stuff. But that was like, it seemed like it was a pre-chorus turnaround in the first two times, but this time they doubled it and really let the drums, you know, light it up in those turnarounds and stuff. So I'm really super digging that. Sorry, I'm gonna go back a little bit because I want to listen to more of that because that was really super cool, and then we'll take it out. Wow, I don't know. I don't know if it was me, but well, I'm sure it was me because I'm hearing it. It's my ears. Did you not hear in the background now as they started peeling away some of the layers at the ending? Some of the other arrangements or the overdubs were more evident. It sounded like there was an acoustic guitar, you know, following that da 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 da, which a lot of times in engineering becomes a very important part of a range and tone, especially when you have, it's a decision the producers, the bands, musicians, and the engineers make. Even though you cannot necessarily hear the acoustic guitar in the mix in the forward, the actual strumming of it adds a percussive element to the guitar tracks that are all power. You know, so in other words, instead of trying to get, in my opinion, instead of like if I was mixing the guitars, instead of me trying to maybe pinch, you know, let's say I brought my EQ in really super tight and pulled it up just so I can get a little bit of a bell sound of a percussive strike, like a pick. I would do something like, okay, I'm gonna double that guitar, that hard rah, 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 with an acoustic. And even though you're not going to hear necessarily the chords of the acoustic guitar, what you do is you hear the strumming. It's still the right notes. It's the exact notes. And the tail end of the acoustic audio is going to wash out. But that it's that percussive thing that you add and you raise up into there. And I fully dug that. Something else I want to bring up too before I dig out is the whole section where they did the guitar solo, which was very cool and laid back, but very appropriate because these guys kill it. They shred. The musicianship here is not in question. You don't get to be in their level, in their world, in which they're performing without already being great musicians, so that we can take that ball and move that over here. But that's when I really had an opportunity to listen to the bass, okay? So now the vocal is gone. The solos are taking over, and the bass is stepping up a little bit more into the support section of that section. So the bass is actually moving around and playing more notes, but listen to the tone of that bass. In a perfect world, I would have loved to have heard it maybe a dB and a half up in the mix, but listen, go back and listen just to the solo breakdown section and listen to how sick that tone is in the bass. That sounded great, at least in these headsets. I mean, for me, you know, these are, you know, as stoic and as durable as any headset has ever been in the world of recording industry. And as a matter of fact, AKG 240s have been there since I was a kid, late 70s, early 80s in studios I worked at. But anyhow, so that's what I wanted to pick up out of it a little later. Anyhow, so I hope you guys were stoked. This was my second Behemoth track. More to come, obviously. As long as this channel's still going, there'll be more to come. I want to thank you guys once again. If you see fit, buy me a cup of coffee. All right. Or check out my Patreon, Super Cool Beans. If you want to check out a little bit more on the headsets, the link will be down below, as well as all the other links. All right, guys, take care of yourself. Aloha.